morning students, hope you're fine and safe. Today I am here to teach you the first chapter of chemistry, chemical reactions and equations. Before entering the chapter, let's recall the points we discussed earlier. Like chemical reactions involves chemical changes, chemical equations are the symbolic representation of chemical reaction, and the basic criteria to balance a chemical equation is law of conservation of mass. And law of conservation of mass states that mass neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reactions. These are the points we discussed in our previous class. Let's begin today's class. Right now, I am going to teach you the very important part of the chapter, types of chemical reactions, and they combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, redox reaction. We can discuss each one of this. First one, combination reaction. As the name itself indicates, combining two or three elements to get a single product. So, combination reactions are the reactions in which two or three elements or compounds join together to form a single product. Two or three elements join together to form a single product. I'll explain with the help of an example. Look at this example. Calcium oxide react with water to get calcium hydroxide. So, in the reactant side, this is the reactant side and this is the product side that we studied earlier. So, in the reactant side, you can see two reactants like calcium oxide and water. Two or three elements or compounds. So, calcium oxide and water react to form a single product. So, in the product side only calcium hydroxide, a single product. Such type of reactions are known as combination reactions. Two or three elements or compounds join together to form a single product. As you know, quicklime is the general name of calcium oxide, and calcium, the general name of calcium hydroxide is Slaked lime. And there is another very important point related to the combination reaction. Combination reactions are exothermic reaction. What it means exothermic reactions? Exo means or exit mean gives out, giving out. So there are some reactions which gives or which release heat energy outside. Such reactions are known as exothermic reactions. So combination reactions are an example of exothermic reactions because these reactions are releasing or liberating heat energy outside. The slaked lime produced from the reaction can be used to whitewash the walls. During whitewashing, the slaked lime react with the carbon dioxide of the air to form calcium carbonate. Look at this equation. Calcium hydroxide react with the carbon dioxide to form calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate formed after 2-3 days of whitewashing gives shiny white appearance. As I told you, combination reactions are exothermic reactions. Just like our life process, respiration also an example of exothermic reactions. During digestion, the food broken down to form simpler substances. For example, rice, potatoes, bread, etc. contain carbohydrate. These carbohydrates broken down to form glucose. And this glucose react with the oxygen of the cell of our body to give energy. So, this reaction also releasing or liberating heat energy. So, it is an example of exothermic reaction. Next, the second type of reaction is decomposition reaction. Decomposition reactions are the reactions in which a single reactant breaks down to form two or three simpler products. Decomposition reactions are just opposite of combination reaction. As I told you, combination reactions are the reactions in which two or three reactants react to form a single product, but decomposition reactions are just opposite to it. Here, a single reactant breaks down to form two or three simpler products. Such type of reactions are known as decomposition reactions. Decomposition reactions are the reactions in which a single reactant breaks down to form two or three simple products. In this reaction of ferrous sulfate, you can see 2FeSO4 gives Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. So, on heating, ferrous sulfate changes to ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So, in the reactant side you can see there is only one compound, ferrous sulfate, but in the product side there is three products. So, decomposition reactions are the reactions in which a single reactant breaks down to form two or more simpler products. And also you see it's very important reaction and it's a color reaction. Here you can see the color of the ferrous sulfate is pale green, and after the reaction the pale green ferrous sulfate changes to reddish brown ferric oxide. So for the 10th standard examination point of view, this is very important, and you can expect the question like identify the reaction or identify the type of reaction in which pale green ferrous sulfate changes to reddish brown, and identify the type of the reaction, and your answer should be decomposition reaction. So once again I repeat, decomposition reactions are the reactions in which a single reactant breakdowns to form two or more simpler products. And there is another very important point of decomposition reaction. Decomposition reactions are endothermic reactions. I told you combination reactions are exothermic reactions because they are liberating heat energy. But decomposition reactions are endothermic, taking in or absorbing. Here you can see a triangle arrow. Triangle arrow indicates the process is heating. So during the reaction, ferrous sulfate absorbs heat and it forms ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So in this reaction there is absorption of energy. So if the reaction absorbs energy, we can list them as endothermic reactions. So endothermic reactions are the reactions in which there is an absorption of heat energy. These absorptions may be in three ways: absorption of heat, absorption of light, absorption of electricity. Decomposition reactions are of three types: thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, photolytic decomposition. As I told you, decomposition reactions are endothermic reactions because they absorb energy. If they absorb heat energy, they are thermal decomposition reaction. That means therm or temperature, absorbing heat energy. So in this reaction, the decomposition of ferrous sulfate to ferric oxide and sulfur dioxide by the absorption of heat energy. So such reactions are thermal decomposition reaction. If the reactants absorb heat energy to break down to get a simpler products, they are thermal decomposition reaction. Then if they absorb electricity, look at this example, 2H2O gives water. When we pass electricity to the water decomposes to form hydrogen and oxygen. So here the absorption of electricity. So such reaction is electrolytic decomposition. And look here this is photolytic decomposition. Photo means light. So here the absorption of light energy. Silver chloride, when it faces to sunlight, silver chloride breakdowns to form silver and chlorine. So there are three types of decomposition reaction: thermal decomposition by the absorption of heat energy, electrolytic decomposition, absorption of electricity, and photolytic decomposition, absorption of sunlight. Then we can study detail about thermal decomposition. First we can discuss about the thermal decomposition of ferrous sulfate. Thermal decomposition of ferrous sulfate occurs in two steps. In the first step, ferrous sulfate FeSO4 7H2O. This is the exact molecular formula of ferrous sulfate. So this 7 molecules of water means it is the water of crystallization. What is water of crystallization we will discuss in the next chapter. So FeSO4 7H2O on heating changes to FeSO4 plus 7H2O. That means on heating ferrous sulfate 7H2O, it loses its 7 molecules of water. In the first step, ferrous sulfate 7H2O loses its 7 molecules of water. And you see, when a molecule contains water molecule in it, we can use them as hydrated salts. So this is hydrated ferrous sulfate. So hereafter, if you see the term hydrated, that means that compounds contain some amount of water in it. So that number will be different. Okay. So here the hydrated ferrous sulfate on heating loses its 7 molecules of water and they changes to anhydrous. If a compound loses its water molecules, then we can use them as anhydrous. So in simple way, hydrated ferrous sulfate changes to anhydrous ferrous sulfate in the first step. And the second step, normally 2FeSO4 decomposes to form ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. And here there is another example for the thermal decomposition of lead nitrate. Lead nitrate on thermal decomposition splits up to form lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. Okay, and this is also a color reaction. During the thermal decomposition, white color lead nitrate breakdowns to form yellow color lead oxide and nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. Okay, so thermal decomposition is a reaction in which there is an absorption of heat energy. Yes. Now we can discuss about the electrolytic decomposition. What is electrolytic decomposition? Electrolytic decomposition is a decomposition reaction by absorbing electricity. That I told you, when electricity flows through the water, that electricity breaks the or decomposes the water to hydrogen and oxygen. So this I am going to show you through this activity. So what is the name of this activity? Electrolysis of water. Electrolysis. Lysis means what? Breaking. So breaking by means of electricity. So that is electrolysis. So electrolysis of water, and the name of this entire arrangement is known as voltameter. Okay. So what are the materials needed to set up a voltameter? We need a beaker and we need two electrodes, cathode and anode. We have two electrodes here, cathode and anode. Anode is a positively charged electrode and cathode is a negatively charged electrode, and anode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and cathode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, and you can see inside two inverted funnels, and there is water inside this beaker. Okay, so these are the things we arranged in the voltameter. Okay, then on putting the switch, normally the electricity starts to flow through it, and when the electricity contact with the water, that electricity starts to splits the water to hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so that is electrolysis, breaking water molecules by means of electricity. So that is the example of electrolytic decomposition. And another very important point you have to note here, you can see the two inverted funnels. See, what is the idea of keeping the funnels like this? No, not funnels, boiling tubes like this. Why it cannot be placed in the normal way? Why? Because here the products are gases. Two products are there, both are gases. So when when there is decomposition reaction and after the formation, directly it mixes with the water. So in order to avoid that situation, you have to keep an inverted boiling tube here. Okay, and there is another important point related to this activity. You can see two marks here, right? So where you can see the level of gas produced is high here. Why? So here you can see the gap is more and here the gap is less. Gap is more means what? That gap fills with maximum amount of gas. If the gap is less means what? Only less amount of gas is formed here, right? So you can see the more gap here. That gas is hydrogen. That's why when we closely examine the molecular formula of water, you can see water, H2O. So the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in the water is the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in water is 2:1. That's why during the electrolysis of water there is formation of hydrogen gas more than that of oxygen, because in the molecular formula of water, if there is 2 hydrogen, there is only 1 oxygen. So definitely there is formation of more amount of hydrogen than oxygen, because when there is the question like this, your answer should be the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in water is 2:1. So you can expect the question like why there is formation of more amount of hydrogen than oxygen during the electrolysis of water. Explain. So there should be only one answer, that is the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in water is 2:1. So more formation of hydrogen than oxygen. So that's all about electrolytic decomposition of water. Electrolytic decomposition is the decomposition in which there is an absorption of electricity. Next one is photolytic decomposition. Photolytic decomposition is the decomposition which takes place on absorption of light. So these are the reactions which occurs by the absorption of sunlight. For example, silver chloride. When we place silver chloride under for some time, silver chloride decomposes to form silver and chlorine. Here the important thing is white color changes to grey color. This is also the color reaction. And when we place the silver bromide under the sunlight for some time, it decomposes to form silver and bromine, and the color change is yellow to grey. And other very important point related to these two reactions are used in the black and white photography. So there is a chance of one question, which are the reactions used in the black and white photography? These two reactions. So finally, photolytic decomposition are the decomposition reactions which takes place on absorption of light. Displacement reactions. Displacement reactions are the reactions in which highly reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from their compound or solution. High reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from their compound or solutions. Example, Fe plus CuSO4 gives FeSO4 plus Cu. Here you can see iron is more reactive than copper. So, iron displaces copper from copper sulfate solution and forms iron sulfate. Once again, iron is more reactive than copper. So, iron displaces copper from the copper sulfate and forms ferrous sulfate and copper becomes free. And here you see the color change. Before the reaction, copper sulfate has blue color. After the reaction, it changes to pale green. That means pale green is the color of ferrous sulfate and brown color for copper. Next, one more example, copper plus silver nitrate. Here copper is more reactive than silver. So, copper displaces silver from the silver nitrate solution and forms copper nitrate plus silver, and the color change, silver nitrate is the colorless one and copper nitrate blue color. And third one, zinc plus copper sulfate. Here zinc is more reactive than copper. So, zinc displaces copper from the copper sulfate and forms zinc sulfate and copper becomes free, and the color change you see, copper sulfate blue color, zinc sulfate colorless, and copper is the brown deposit. Double displacement reactions. Double displacement reactions are the reactions in which there is an exchange of ion between the compounds. Double displacement reactions are the reactions in which there is an exchange of ions between the compounds. For example, you see barium chloride Na2SO4. BaCl2 is barium chloride and Na2SO4 sodium sulfate gives barium sulfate plus NaCl, and you can see the dissociation here, barium 2 plus Cl minus and Na plus SO4 2 minus. So, opposite charges attracts. So, here barium joins with the SO4 2 minus and forms barium sulfate, and Na and Cl together to NaCl. And here Ag and Cl, Ag, Cl, and Na and NO3, Na, NO3. And here you see Fe 2 plus and SO4 2 minus plus 2 minus. So, Fe and SO4 together, FeSO4, and H2 and S, H2S. And you can see here upward arrow indicates this is a gas, and here you can see the downward arrows, that is precipitate. So, double displacement reactions are the reactions in which there is an exchange of ions between the compounds. And the last type of reaction is redox reaction. About the redox reaction we will discuss in the next video, and watch the video carefully and make use of this video.